8 Muslim fundamentalists are arrested in New York, charged with plotting a massive bombing attack on the United Nations, Manhattan commuter tunnels, and other key targets.
A letter bomb at Yale University blows up in the hands of a computer scientist. Authorities search for a link to a similar letter bomb attack in California.
And Eye on America. Tonight, an undercover investigation of dreams derailed. Grim reality for newcomers at the end of the rainbow.
They were going to be executed to teach them, the other people, a lesson so everybody else would pay their debts.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather at the United Nations and Connie Chung in New York.
Good evening. More evidence tonight that it can happen here. Right behind us, security and nerves are tighter than ever at the United Nations complex. That's because the UN is one of several key targets of a new alleged terrorist bombing plot, along with the Lincoln and Holland tunnels. And authorities are investigating an apparent link between this new plot and the February bombing of the World Trade Center just 3 miles south of here. On this still developing story, law correspondent Rita Braver begins our coverage.
This exclusive CBS News videotape shows FBI agents in New York bringing in suspects. 8 Muslim fundamentalists are now in custody in what's being called one of the most significant terrorist busts in U.S. history.
Significant because of the potential damage and injury to the public safety here.
The men are charged with plotting to bomb targets all over New York City, the United Nations, the FBI's New York office, as well as the Lincoln and Holland tunnels leading into New York from New Jersey and other government and military facilities. The FBI says the group planned to bomb at least 3 of the sites at different times on the same day. Sources say the group also planned to assassinate Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak, United Nations Secretary General Boutros Ghali, and New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato, who has taken a hard line against Arab extremists. The men were arrested in this Queens, New York building. The FBI had videotape surveillance here that is said to show the suspects in the process of constructing bombs of ammonium nitrate and diesel fuel oil, the same chemicals used in the World Trade Center bomb.
As we entered the bomb factory, the 5 subjects were actually mixing the witch's brew.
Sources say this group is linked to Sheikh Rahman, the blind Egyptian cleric whose followers allegedly carried out the World Trade Center bombing. Just last week, the sheikh issued this veiled threat against the United States for its alliance with his archenemy, Egyptian President Mubarak.
The world and history shall hold America accountable for supporting Mubarak.
The suspects are all from New York and New Jersey. 5 of them are Sudanese, now legal U.S. residents. Their specific motives were not clear, but the ringleader allegedly told the FBI's informant that the World Trade Center bombing was a message to America that we can get you any time. Today, U.S. officials said they'd turn the tables.
The message that these arrests and prosecutions should send is that we will not be driven from our community.
And here at FBI headquarters in Washington, there is a strong sense that the arrest came just in time. Several of the suspects allegedly talked about placing the bomb soon and fleeing the country, Dan.
Rita, why is the FBI linking the group arrested today to the bombing of the World Trade Center?
Well, one of the reasons, as we said, is this link through the Sheikh's temple. But even more important, at least 2 of the suspects claim that they were in on the planning of that bomb, even going so far as to help conduct a test explosion for the World Trade Center bomb.
Rita Braver, live at the FBI in Washington. Thanks. The alleged terror outfit's Manhattan Project apparently included targets designed for maximum death and damage, and not just here at the UN. Investigators say the bombing plot was also aimed at 2 main arteries of commuter traffic.
Every day, more than 200,000 drivers pass through the Holland and Lincoln tunnels connecting New Jersey to Manhattan Island. People who once thought these familiar routes were perfectly safe.
I drive through the tunnel very, very frequently, and this is the first time in a long time I really thought about the tunnel actually blowing up and the consequences of people being in it. It's a scary, scary thought.
A bomb strategically placed in either tunnel would have caused terrible destruction and hysteria. But what would have happened to the tunnel structures themselves?
If anything happens down there while you're in the tunnel, Well, the only thing you could drown down there.
That is the nightmare scenario. A bomb explodes in a tunnel, causing water from the river above to rush into the tube. But is it possible? Nearly 100 feet of earth separate the tunnels from the Hudson River. An expert who has studied the effects of blasts in tunnels says it would be difficult, but not impossible.
If the explosion is strong enough, the tunnel could collapse. And that means the outside soil and water would rush in, and it could be a disaster.
I think they did beef up security after the World Trade Center bombing, and I just hope that there is enough security.
The alleged ringleader of the group claims that he had a contact who would let him drive a car with a bomb right into this United Nations parking lot. Experts say they doubt that, but no one is willing to bet absolutely that a really committed terrorist could not ram a car through these barricades into one of those buildings, setting off a car bomb and, of course, taking his own life along with untold others.
When I first heard about it, I was really shocked. It was kind of amazing to see that something international would come so close to home.
While the suspected terrorists were caught before they could hatch their plot, they were successful in at least part of their mission. They have brought home to Americans our vulnerability to surprise attack.
America is barely prepared to handle traffic tickets, nonetheless major terrorist operations.
Kupperman and other experts point out that Washington is just as vulnerable as New York City, not to mention other sensitive installations all around the country. Connie Chung is at CBS News Worldwide headquarters across town with more news about domestic terrorism. Connie?
Dan, it's a letter bomb mystery. Two prominent scientists on opposite ends of the country have been named by letter bombs in the past 2 days. And as John Blackstone reports, the reason and the connection, if any, are unknown.
The bomb on the Yale campus today blew up in the Computer Sciences building, critically injuring an internationally recognized computer expert. David Galernter, 38, suffered severe wounds when the suspected mail bomb exploded in his office. There is no obvious motive.
A tragedy occurred today for Professor Galernter, for his family, and for the whole Yale community.
It is the second time this week that prominent university researchers have been victims of bomb attacks. On Tuesday, Dr. Charles Epstein was seriously injured when a mail bomb exploded at his home near San Francisco.
He is missing several fingers on one of his hands, and he has severe abdominal injuries due to the explosion.
Dr. Epstein, a genetics researcher at the University of California, San Francisco, has made advances in the study of Down syndrome. Investigators say they found no link between the attack and Epstein's work.
No motive is known at this time. No demands or notes of any kind have been received to date.
The American Medical Association called today for more protection for the nation's doctors.
The harassing, the threatening, the maiming, and yes, the killing of those who would work in health must stop.
The two attacks this week have raised fears that a serial bomber blamed for a dozen explosions in the late 70s and 80s may be back at work. Investigators called him the Unabomber because he targeted universities and high-tech businesses. He was never caught. Until investigators discover a motive for these latest university bombings, virtually every campus in the country has to consider itself a potential target for terrorism. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, more terrorism, this time in Europe, where the attackers warn it is only the beginning.
Poor Newton. I know it's hard being here with so little to do all day, but Maytag builds them to last longer and need fewer repairs. Look at them, icons of indestructibility. No wonder we Maytag repairmen are lords of loneliness, sultans of solitude. I know how you feel, that ache inside for the dinner. Hey, now there's something I can fix.
Maytag, the dependability people.
He likes milk and show. He's got great muscle tone. He likes milk and show. And strong, healthy bones. She likes milk and show. Baby, soft skin, bright eyes, a healthy grin. She likes milk and show. Milk, it does her body good. With vitamin A to help keep eyes bright, calcium for healthy teeth, and protein to help build muscle. When you drink milk, it shows. He likes milk and show. It does her body good. He likes milk and show. It does her body.
Back live at the United Nations, world leaders here at the UN were watching with great concern today as Europe was hit by a sudden wave of Middle Eastern terrorism. The attackers in Europe were Kurdish nationalists trying to dramatize their fight for an independent homeland inside Turkey. Correspondent Barry Peterson is on the scene of one attack in Germany.
The drama in Munich ended late tonight in talk, not trouble. The Kurdish terrorists surrendered, the last of their hostages set free, after a mediator from the German government convinced the Kurds that what they were doing, quote, didn't make sense. Through the tense day, some ill hostages had been allowed to leave, and at one point, all the women were set free. Crack anti-terrorist police were called in. Fortunately, they were never used. The terrorist chief demand was that Germany's chancellor publicly insist that Turkey stop attacking or oppressing the Kurds. It was an ill-fated effort on the part of the terrorist. Germany's government quickly and simply rejected it. The wave of terrorism spread across Europe at exactly the same early morning hour. The targets were diplomatic facilities or offices for Turkish companies.
One would have thought that it involved lots of communication between lots of people, and that with the large amount of intelligence activity in Europe looking out for terrorists, then that perhaps they should have spotted it.
In Bern, Switzerland, demonstrators trying to storm the embassy were met with gunfire from officials inside. One demonstrator was killed, several wounded. In some attacks, the Kurds struck quickly, did their damage, and fled. In Bonn, police responded fast enough to stop demonstrators as they tried to take over an office. The Kurds telegraphed their punch. Earlier this month, a Kurdish leader said in Lebanon that thousands of his followers were declaring all-out war against Turkey's tourist and economic interest. Today's attacks are clearly a part of what the Kurdish leader vowed will be, in his words, a bloody summer, drawing attention to demands for a separate homeland by using all Europe as a stage for demonstrations and terrorism. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Munich.
The Kurdish people, who have no formal representation here at the UN, are Muslim nomads who have lived in Western Asia for thousands of years and have now spread all over Europe and the world. There are close to 20 million Kurds in the world with their own culture, language, and home. They call it Kurdistan, a mountainous land sprawling over parts of Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. The Kurds have never really had their own state, but for most of this century they have been fighting Iran, Iraq, and Turkey for some kind of independence.
They want to be recognized as separate people. The Kurds are not Arabs, they're not Persians, they're not Turks. They are independent, they have their own language, they have their own history, their own culture, and they have never been recognized as such.
The Kurds' most brutal foe is Saddam Hussein. In 1988, the Iraqi Air Force bombed Kurdish villages with chemical weapons, killing thousands of civilians. After Saddam's defeat in the Persian Gulf War, Kurds, encouraged by President Bush, rebelled and tried to set up their own independent state in northern Iraq. Saddam's forces cracked down, and more than 1 million Kurds fled to the mountains of Iran and Turkey, making both Iran and Turkey nervous. In Turkey, the Kurds were kept alive by U.S. airdrops and eventually sent back to Iraq under U.S. protection that continues to this day. The Iraqi Kurds were not welcome to stay in Turkey, partly because the Turks were fighting their own Kurdish rebels, an alleged Marxist group that wants an independent state in southern Turkey. 6,000 Kurds and Turks have died in a 9-year guerrilla war inside Turkey, another bloody Middle Eastern conflict that now has spread to the west.
In Geneva today, Serbs and Croats said they've agreed on a plan to divide war-torn Bosnia into 3 ethnic mini-states. Now they are calling on the Muslims to accept defeat on the battlefield and take what they can get at the bargaining table. Now from around the world, more CBS News. In Somalia, supporters of a fugitive warlord staged a rally protesting the UN campaign to arrest him for the murder of 23 UN peacekeepers. Mohammed Adid's whereabouts are still unknown. In Moscow, at least 11 people were killed when a fuel tanker collided with a truck and spilled flaming gasoline over a busy highway. Dozens more people were injured. Up in space, the shuttle astronauts succeeded in plucking a science satellite out of orbit, but they had trouble locking it down in the cargo bay when the satellite's 2 antennas became jammed. Stay with us for much more CBS News, including the budget battle on Capitol Hill. the president's men, Congress, and a little outside advice.
Look out, America. The Choiceosaurus sweepstakes is here. You could win $1 million or one of 7 $50,000 cash prizes. Pick up an entry form at any Quality, Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep Hotel, and you could be a winner, too.
Go to Comfort Inn and you can win $50,000. I did.
The $1 million prize is still at large. Will Choiceosaurus bring it to you? Call 1-800-4CHOICE because offers like this happen once every 60 million years.
Hi, I'm in this commercial because I'm not an expert on nutrition. Who is? Thank goodness I found Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. In this one cereal, I get everything I want. I get whole grain, I get lots of fiber. I get 14 really good vitamins and minerals. Plus, I get beta-carotene. So, how does Kellogg's get all this stuff into one cereal? I don't know, I just eat it.
Get Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. Everything you want, right here.
The stranger and his trusty grill stood ready for the fight. Other sauces against bullseye to see which tasted right. And as the smoke rose off his grill, Hunt's was laid to waste. Then Masterpiece dropped out as well against Bullseye Big Bold Taste. And when Bullseye Taste hit Heinz, the whole town could attest that the stranger had won the day with the sauce that tastes the best. The Big Bold Taste of Bullseye tastes the best.
Unlicensed drivers, they don't need a license to kill. But one cop is trying to drive them off the road.
You're out of here. Eye to Eye with Connie Chung tonight.
The superconducting super collider had a fatal collision with Congress tonight. The $10 billion atom smasher being built in Texas was shut down by the House of Representatives, and the vote wasn't even close. Opponents called the project a boondoggle and Jurassic Pork. The issue now goes to the Senate, which revived the project last year. The president says he supports the super collider. Also on Capitol Hill, a showdown vote in the Senate tonight on the compromise version of President Clinton's deficit reduction package. Despite the vote, the budget battle is far from over, as Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer explains.
Knowing it would be a cliffhanger, virtually the entire administration descended on the Capitol to make the president's case. That's the vice president's limo. That's David Gergen, one-time Republican who's now chief White House spin doctor. No one thought it would be easy to convince Congress to vote for big tax hikes and cuts in popular social programs. But by midday, the president's main budget man reported progress.
Working it.
Getting close?
It's going to be close.
To add a little pressure, Ross Perot, with some Republicans in tow, showed up with millions of petitions, urging Congress to just get on with it.
We're not Democrats, we're not Republicans, we're all Americans working together to get it done, okay?
But it was slow going all last night and through the day on the Senate floor, where the partisan wrangling got really ugly. A Republican on the taxes the president wants.
Now is the time to kill the Taxosaurus monster. Kill the dinosaur. Kill him now. Because if you don't, he's going to be back. He's going to eat more. He's going to eat more jobs. So take this lead pencil and give him lead poisoning. Kill him. Right through.
A Democrat on the Republican alternative.
As for me, I'll tell you what we had to do on this.
Senator's time has expired.
Sheet of history, along with
Senator's time has expired.
Put it in your trash bag.
It was like that all day, but by afternoon, the president got his first big break. When Senate leaders agreed to scale back some of the projected cuts in Medicare, a reluctant group of Senate liberals finally said they'd support the president's plan. That helped the administration cause a lot, so as the final vote approached tonight, it began to look at last as if the president would win. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, Eye on America, a CBS News undercover investigation into a world where dreams are turned into nightmares.
Oh, my back hurts and I had a game this afternoon, so I'm taking Advil.
More doctors recommend Advil by name to relieve backaches than any other brand.
With Advil, a sore back won't keep me from swinging.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Everybody needs some money sometime. Everybody.
When you need money fast.
Hello, Sue.
Come to Western Union. We send more money to more people in more places than anyone else. Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers know some problems can't be diagnosed in the shop. So they give their technicians a unique traveling companion, the Portable Vehicle Analyzer. It records engine data in ways no human eyes and ears can. Then it tells us what's wrong, so it can be serviced right the first time. Ford and Lincoln Mercury Quality Care, where the quality continues.
My daughter, the doctor, she always loved kids, which is why she became a pediatrician and a mom, and why she tells other moms to use antibacterial soaps, like Safeguard. With all these germs around, you need Safeguard.
Safeguard eliminates the germs regular soaps can't.
My daughter, the doctor. I know I didn't teach her everything about killing germs, but I sure taught her one thing.
Safeguard against germs.
Safeguard the ones you love.
Plots for assassinations and bombings of public places. With terrorism at our doorstep, how safe are we? Complete coverage tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
Back now live at the United Nations. Today's arrest of 8 Muslim fundamentalists and the recent apprehension of hundreds of illegal Chinese immigrants underscore a major problem for law enforcement. Nowhere is that problem more in evidence than here in New York City, where illegal immigrants can be the villains or the victims. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld investigates the death of a dream in tonight's Eye on America.
New York City's Chinatown, the destination for most of the tens of thousands of illegal Chinese immigrants who sneak into this country every year. The Chinese call America Mei Guo, beautiful country, somewhere to start over.
Life in China is not good. Wages are very low. There is no personal freedom. You have to work all day long.
Like most of the new illegals, these two are from a South China coastal province, Fujian. They were caught when their ship ran aground this spring off New York Harbor. They each promised to pay smugglers $30,000 to get them here. What they and all the others have found is that America is not the beautiful country of their dreams.
New York State Department of Labor, open up, please.
Reality is long hours and rock-bottom wages in one of the sweatshops of New York's garment district.
You don't have an unemployment insurance number, right? Yeah. No. I want to make it next week.
Living in fear, they'll be discovered and sent home. Tom Glubiak is an investigator for the State Labor Department.
Well, we'll find people working for as little as $1.50 an hour, $2 an hour. Usually you working 60-hour weeks, not being paid for overtime.
When this woman was first smuggled in, she went to work for $8 a day.
The boss doesn't care whether we are human beings or animals. They just want us to get the work done.
For those who must pay off their debts to the snakeheads, as they're called, the leaders of the Chinese gangs who brought them here, life can really be a kind of slavery. They're indentured to the gangs for years until they pay up, or else.
Can they be punished? Are their lives in danger if they don't pay what is it they owe?
That's for sure. Those people, they can do all kinds of things. They will beat us up, and our families too.
These are the ones the illegals are afraid of, the alleged Chinese gang members. Police say these thugs deal in everything: drugs, prostitution, gambling, extortion, and fear.
This is one of the rooms we found about 4 people in. Has one mattress.
Take a look inside one of the houses where the gangs keep the illegals. It's on a residential street in Brooklyn. New York Police Lieutenant Bernard Cosenza.
This is their clothes. This is their living arrangements. We figure there's between 16 and 20 people who share these 3 or 4 rooms.
Police raided it when they learned 2 of the illegals might be killed.
They were going to be executed to teach them, the other people, a lesson so everybody else would pay their debts.
And when the illegals are not here under guard, they're at the employment offices looking for jobs at a fraction of the minimum wage. The men are waiters or dishwashers for as little as 70 cents an hour. The women work round the clock in the sweatshops. Joanne Lum is trying to organize these workers, but it's not easy.
Garment factory bosses will say to workers as they come to complain about having withheld wages or not being paid minimum wage or whatever, they'll say, I can have the gang members come in here to mess with you or to kill you.
And still they come, and despite the best efforts of the Coast Guard and immigration, most of them get through. Tom Glubiak knows why.
Yeah, you hear all beautiful things about this country. It's streets are paved with gold.
We heard that America is great. People here talk about freedom and democracy and human rights.
When they get here, they learn that those same streets are washed with sweat and tears.
Still in all, you won't find many of them that want to go home. They don't want to abandon the dream of a future and a beautiful country in their May Guo. In New York City, I'm Richard Threlkeld for Eye on America.
And that's our news for now. Coming up later tonight on this CBS station on Eye to Eye, a live update on today's terrorist scare and its implications for tomorrow. Also, unlicensed drivers getting away with murder. And actress Kim Basinger speaks out for the first time after losing a landmark multi-million-dollar lawsuit. That's Eye to Eye tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Dan?
And tomorrow I'll be reporting live from Florida with an update on the hurricane season, about Hurricane Andrew, and reaction to the threat of military base closings in Florida and around the country. For now, with Connie Chung, Dan Rather reporting from the United Nations. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung.
Introducing Fat-Free Promise Ultra. Zero fat with just 5 delicious calories a serving.
And every time I see you grin,
It's the first fat-free margarine. Definitely one of a kind.
you make me feel so young.
Regular or new Fat-Free Promise Ultra. Get heart smart.
To celebrate Buick's 90th anniversary, we proudly introduced the 90th Anniversary LeSabre. LeSabre has a proven reputation for quality and the highest projected resale value in its class. Now, you get all this Buick quality, comfort, and elegance at a special anniversary price. The 90th Anniversary Buick LeSabre. Quality its competition just can't hold a candle to.
My basic love of dogs and my experience breeding dogs makes me enjoy my career as a veterinarian even more.
David Qualls, top breeder of champion Siberian Huskies and doctor of veterinary medicine.
We give our dogs pedigree as a source of meat in their diet. When you open a can of Choice Cuts, there's big meaty chunks and a rich brown gravy. You can really smell the meatiness. Pedigree contains no soy. Pedigree is a very digestible and very nutritious dog food. For my money, Pedigree is the best dog food you can buy.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer. Thinking about refinancing your home? Even if you've been late on some payments in the past, you can still refinance your first mortgage and get today's low rates at the Money Store. Because the Money Store looks at your total credit picture. They won't automatically disqualify you for some late payments. And you can apply by phone with no application fee. So even if you've been late on some payments, you can still refinance your first mortgage. Call the Money Store at 1-800-283-5523.
Experience CBS News. Dan Rather brought you the best coverage of Hurricane Andrew's furious rampage. Now he